Greetings superstars, my name is Tara Brabazon and I'm the Dean of Graduate Research at Flinders University, and welcome to this, our 6th vlog. Wow, unbelievable, and this one is by request. Big hello to David, who requested a session on procrastination. Fantastic suggestion, and I've been working pretty hard on it for the last week, and I realised last Friday it's actually 2 sessions, because you see, procrastination is one half of a binary pair. Procrastination versus motivation. So the motivation element of this vodcast has sort of grown out of procrastination, and I'll be doing a session on it next week, because I do know that motivation matters to you. I've had so many people through my office in the last couple of weeks or so desperate, and the word is desperate, to submit their thesis before August. So they've been coming into my office to get me to do a bit of a Ron Barassi 3/4 time. You can do it. Come on, let's do it. Come on, come on. And I'm always very, very happy to do that. But next week we're going to talk about motivation and provide a model for motivation that is structured, that is careful and considered, and I hope will get you to completion. And so that therefore leaves us with the old bitter dog that is procrastination, which is the topic of what we're doing today. So I need to do a big shout out to the wonderful David for the great suggestion, a hello to Sarah, to the wonderful Sharon, to Jane who visited me yesterday. She is absolutely fantastic, and also big love to Queen Anna. Anna and I have been doing mentoring sessions for the last few weeks. I'm not quite sure who's mentoring who. I'm getting a great deal out of it, but Anna is just tremendous. She's a self-starter, she's motivated, she's fantastic, and therefore, so we can all be a little bit more like Anna, let's talk about procrastination and understand what may be happening in your life and in your doctorate. Are you ready? Let's begin. So let's start with what procrastination is, and let's see if you can recognise these behaviours in yourself. At their most basic, procrastination is a series of avoidance behaviours. But what I want to make clear to you is actually it is completely logical. It is a completely rational series of behaviours. There's nothing weird about it at all. Procrastination means that you are selecting the pleasant, the light, the sweet, the nice bits of life, the nice people, the nice behaviours, over the weird, the boring, the challenging, or the dreadful. So why wouldn't you do that? That makes perfect sense. So the first thing I would say to you is procrastination is understandable. And no worries, it makes sense, it's logical. The problem comes in when procrastination is followed by a series of very negative emotions. So like guilt, like doubt, like inadequacy, and a fair whack of self-loathing. Yeah. So I want you to start to break that link up for me. I want you to go, okay, well for the next hour I am going to procrastinate. I'm going to sit in the sun and I'm going to look at my nail polish. And that's great. No judgment there. I'm just going to enjoy my nail polish. I know the Bruces enjoy nail polish. Just enjoy it. No judgment. Just do it. The challenge though comes when we're trying to do a PhD, because a PhD is really difficult. It's not normal behaviour. Completing a PhD is extraordinary, and therefore the normal or the normative patterns of life don't always fit effectively when you're trying to fit a thesis into it. Procrastination, when it emerges in higher education, and a lot of great studies happened on this in the late 1980s particularly, when procrastination started to emerge in undergraduate and postgraduate students, it had a very interesting cause. It was seen to be the students were feeling that they didn't have the skills required to complete the task. Isn't that interesting? So again, procrastination is logical. We want to do something pleasant, absolutely, and particularly we want to do something pleasant when we believe we don't have the abilities or the skills to do that difficult task. Fabulous. So this helps us understand what's going on here, because suddenly procrastination becomes a diagnostic tool rather than sort of like a thing. What procrastination is telling us is some information about you, about your worries, about what you're frightened of, or very interestingly, perhaps skills you believe you do not have. A PhD is challenging every single day because it is an original contribution to knowledge. Think about the amazingness of that. You are doing something that nobody else on the planet has realised. How fabulous. So you're discovering something new, but I absolutely understand that that is frightening. It's a lot easier to watch morning television. It's a lot easier to watch Game of Thrones. I get that. So what I'm going to do for you right now is present the 5 causes of procrastination, some of which you may show, but then some quick and dirty and rapid tips that you can deploy to remove procrastination from your environment, from your context. So the first cause of procrastination is perfectionism. So you want your thesis, your chapter, your lab work, your interview to be perfect. Wonderful people, let that go. Put another benchmark in place, because perfectionism simply is not possible. So if you think about it, you're encouraging yourself to fail there. You always will doubt yourself, and instead of trying and doing okay, you prefer to not start, and therefore you will fail. So guys, remember Graham Turner's line that I told you about a couple of vlogs ago. The doctorate is the worst research you will ever write. Don't make it bigger than it is. It's not your great life work. It is simply the concrete in the foundation at the base of your academic house. It's not the bespoke kitchen on grand designs. Guys, one of the reasons I never procrastinate, and I actually never worry about perfectionism, is I'm a writer. I'm a writer by trade. I've written 17 books, 200 plus refereed articles and book chapters, hundreds of articles of journalism. I write. And I treat writing like a jigsaw puzzle. I love the puzzle and the pleasure in words. So during my morning writing sessions, I have micro moments of achievement every single day. It's amazing. I go, oh wow, what an interesting word. Look at that sentence. That's fascinating. So that's what I want you to start doing. Celebrating those micro moments of achievement. Say to yourself, wow, that's a great sentence. I've done well here. Or look at that paragraph. That scaffolded me to a really interesting argument. So start to just acknowledge and enjoy the pleasure and the puzzle of words. The second cause of procrastination is, and you maybe know these guys and gals, or indeed you may be this person who approach every day like it is a soap opera, like it's a trauma, like a really nightmarish situation is about to occur. You know, these people, like something happens and like it's a nuclear war, or, you know, they see the profound tragedy in a toilet that doesn't flush properly. It's like, no, it's the toilet, oh no. Right, so these guys and gals move through life looking for trauma. They're looking for tragedy, they're looking for disappointments, they're looking to have an argument with people, they're looking for panic. And they often find it because mostly they cause it. So this heightened emotional state creates the context for procrastination. How? Well, Sally's just had an argument with her boyfriend, and I can't go to the library and work on the thesis because she needs me. I'm her best friend. She can't manage without me. I was going to start writing, but I've run out of milk, and the local shop doesn't have that nice organic calcium enriched milk, so it looks like now I'll have to go and do the big weekly shop. So I was going to write, but I haven't got any milk, so I have to go shopping. My sister is such a cow. She wants me to do the laundry, and she knows I'm working on a thesis. She knows. I think she's jealous of me. She knows she couldn't do a thesis, and so she's talking about laundry and housework, but really she's just jealous and bitter. Right, so make the decision that you're not going to live your life like an episode of Bold and the Beautiful. None of us matters that much. If you don't have milk in your coffee, the world will not end. Sally and her boyfriend argue every day. It's none of your business, and your sister has a right to live in a clean house. That is not jealousy, that is personal hygiene. So turn the volume down a little bit on life's intrigues. You are not Brooke Logan in Bold and the Beautiful, sighing, crying, arguing or biting your lip in a really interesting way. Make a decision to live a calm and a controlled life. Remember, 99% of what happens every single day is irrelevant, pointless, and frequently a bit silly. Let it go. The third cause of procrastination, and this one is the really serious one for doctoral candidates, this is the one that can be a real showstopper, is the blaming of others. So, I can't write my thesis because. And shall we do the full catalogue of trauma right now? Let's do it. I can't write my thesis because my supervisor won't see me. I can't write my thesis because my supervisor won't read my written work. I can't write my thesis because my experiment did not go as I had planned it to go. I can't write my thesis because I don't like my research questions. I can't write my thesis because my partner complains that I don't do the dishes. I can't write my thesis because Game of Thrones is back on and Jon Snow, oh wow, Jon Snow, wow, wow, wow. Okay, so how often are you blaming other people, including Jon Snow, for your lack of success? Now, this is not only a PhD issue, guys. It is amazing how often you see it in higher education as a sector or as an industry. So for me, the mark of a successful person is a self-contained person, someone who looks in the mirror and claims responsibility for their success, their failures, their achievements. The moment I hear blaming or whinging or whining, I sort of know that that person is not going to make it. Own the errors, own the failures, own the mistakes, because then you can confront them and you can move beyond them to the next stage of your life. So claim your life back. Own your decisions. You chose your supervisor, you chose your topic, you chose to do a PhD. Your choice. So own those choices and then earn and enjoy the achievements and successes that come from those choices. The fifth cause of procrastination is one of the easiest, and that is just simply laziness. And this laziness is the cause and is caused by a lack of motivation. So in my first meeting with my PhD students, I get them to write down 10 reasons that they are doing a PhD in their first meeting. 10 reasons they're doing a PhD. Now, I know if a student gets stuck at about 4 or 5, we're going to have a motivation problem. So procrastination may be an outcome of this situation, but actually a lack of motivation is what's caused it. So the gig next week will find a strategy for you in a concrete way to give you the motivational structure to get that thesis through. Okay, so the question now is, you are a successful person. You are a brilliant person. You are in a master's or a doctoral program. So when we're managing procrastination, I want to focus on looking after your context. I want to focus on how we quickly clean up your environment to make your choices easier. So what I'm doing is I'm working on your context to minimize the distractions so that procrastination does not occur. So what do? Let's do some really quick and easy things to help you. Firstly, set a clear working time. So give yourself a start time, give yourself an end time, and be clear that it's working time. No internet, no interruptions. And I think we all know 30 minutes without interruptions can be worth 6 hours while you're daydreaming. Also, and this is a biggie, don't think about finishing the chapter. I must finish the chapter. I must finish the chapter. Don't think about the chapter. Don't think about the future. Just say, I am writing a page. So I am now, right now, I am writing a page for my thesis. And once that page is done, say again, I am writing a page of my thesis. Do another one. Live in the present. Procrastination pushes you to the future or to the past. Live in the now. Write that sentence now. Read that article now. But most importantly, this is the important bit, when that 30 minutes or that 3-hour block is finished, reward yourself. Go for a walk. Try out that new mascara, and that's just the Bruces. Watch Game of Thrones. Have a bit of a dance. That's what I do. I do stuff and I just have a bit of dance, listen to some music, have a fantastic time, and go again. So you don't have to procrastinate and do the pleasant things now, because you know, once I've written this page, I can then do something pleasant. So it's no worries. Give yourself a reward structure. Okay, so much for cleaning up your time. Let's now clean up your space. And I'm taking this strategy from Brian Wansink and his great book, Mindless Eating, and it comes from his Food and Brand Lab. So a wonderful research project, wonderful writer. And he argued that the reason why the population is increasingly obese is not about individual choices, but about people being in an obesogenic environment. So that means we're surrounded by food. Even when we're not eating, we're thinking about eating. So his studies revealed that every human being makes about 200 decisions about food every single day. So we're meant to be talking with our partner, I love you, and instead of talking with your partner, you're really going, gee, I'd love some cheesecake. Wow, I really love some cheesecake, right? Or you're meant to be working on your thesis and you're going, but I'd really like some feta cheese. Maybe I should have a Greek salad tonight and I'll get some feta on the way home and that'll be just lovely. So Wansink argues that obesity is not being caused by the individual, but being in an environment where too many distractions and choices are available about food. So he argues and shows indeed in his research that if we cut down the food in our environment, so reduce our choices, then people lose weight. So think about the use of this study in doctoral education. How busy is your environment? How many distractions exist in your environment right now? So you're endlessly choosing and making decisions, and it makes you busy. That increases procrastination. So what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the choices that you are making by removing stuff from your environment. What we're doing is we're creating a routine so that you're not thinking about what other stuff you could be doing. Routines block distractions. Routines block procrastination. Now, I don't procrastinate because I have a really rigid routine that I have maintained for 20 years. I don't even think about what I'm doing. I just go through the routine. I don't judge myself. I don't have a negative thought in my head. Every day I know I give my best, I'm happy with the universe, and then I move to the next day. But my focus is always on moving forward. Some days it's a single step, and that's great. Other days it's 10 mile, and that's great. Momentum has meaning. Give yourself movement. So focus on cleaning up your environment, and therefore you will also clean up your time. So this is like cleaning up your fridge, cleaning up your cupboards, taking the crisps out, and if the crisps and the cheesecake aren't there, you won't eat them. So let me give you the easy cleanups that might save you. For some of you, it'll be 10 minutes an hour, and for some of you, it may be half an hour in a day. So the first step, and this is a big one, this could change your life, is shut off all notifications from social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn. You know the stuff that appears in the bottom right-hand corner of your computer or on your phone? Shut all the notifications down. So go to social media when you choose to. Do not allow the push notifications to drag you there. Because think about it, there's the distraction. Oh, someone's liked your post. Really? So you're going to stop writing your thesis to see who's liked your post? Shut the notifications down. The second step, this is a biggie. This is a biggie. Do not place your mobile phone on your desk where you are working. Put it on silent, put it in your bag. Put it away from the desk. Get it out of your environment. That'll change your life. How many people do you see? You're having a conversation with them, there's the phone, and somebody's liked their post on Instagram, and they're more interested in the phone than a person. Now the thesis is even more important. Put the phone out of sight, in a bag. Third step, differentiate between leisure and learning. Differentiate between your thesis and your leisure. What often happens is people are starting to blur leisure and work. So create separate times and separate spheres, and use leisure, use social media, use your mobile phone as the reward after you've done the work. So you're never not looking at your mobile phone ever again. You're writing a page, then you can look at the mobile phone. You are structuring your time. So most important, guys, is I want you to care for yourself. Don't impose bizarre notions or assumptions about how you think you should be behaving. Just be kind to yourself and calm with yourself. A doctorate is a learning experience. It's a course, guys, and yes, it's a big course, but start with today. Start with this hour. Start with right now. Don't judge the past and don't judge the future. Take one step for your thesis right now. There's never going to be a right time or a right mood or a right vibe or having your chakras aligned. There's never going to be a perfect time to write a thesis. So just do it now. I want to finish with one truth if I can. And this is a truth that makes people really uncomfortable and they don't really want to talk about it, but I just want to put it out there for your consideration. And that is, the font of most procrastination behaviours is fear. At their best, doctoral programs are punctuated by laughter, by joy, by really enjoying the experience of learning. And I hope the Office of Graduate Research, I hope I always give you that hope. I want you to know you matter, the thesis matters, I'm excited for you, we can do this together, it's brilliant, I'm proud of you, yeah. But at their worst, doctoral programs are punctuated by fear, and I've seen it around the world. Fear of failure, fear of inadequacy, fear of disappointing yourself, your supervisor, the university, your family. Now, don't judge the fear. The one thing I promise you is you get older, you get more experienced, the fear goes away. You realise you'll be okay. Also remember, and this is particularly a characteristic at universities, guys, it's the nature of the workplace, that underconfident people want to frighten you. Underconfident people want to frighten you. It is intentional, okay? They're wanting to push you down. They're wanting to minimise you to make themselves feel better, to silence their self-doubt, okay? And again, that's completely understandable, but don't let them do it. Try to stop living your life through the commentary of others, guys. Opinion is not fact. The commentary doesn't matter too much. I just read a great book by Michael Foley. It was called The Age of Absurdity. Great book, fantastic, Michael Foley. And he made a great statement, quote, "Who in the Western world has not been deranged," what a great word, has not been deranged by a toxic cocktail of dissatisfaction, restlessness, desire and resentment, end of quote. So much of our daily lives are completely absurd. Just don't go in there, don't judge it, let it go. The characteristic of successful, motivated people is that they feel the fear. They manage the disappointment. They cut away the blame of others. And they just simply get on with it. Success doesn't come from finishing. Success comes from starting. The reason so many people fail in life is that they don't start. They're frightened, they're angry, they're bitter, they're lost. But all success is taking one step, and then another, and then another, and then another. What you're after is momentum. It's the movement that makes you successful. As most of you know, I am an enormous fan of Peter Capaldi. Big fan. He's played some of the landmark roles in screen culture. Local Hero, one of my favourite films ever, The Thick of It, Doctor Who, and Crow Road. I saw Crow Road on the weekend again. Fantastic miniseries, brilliant. I said to myself, if you read those 21 articles on Saturday, Tara, you can watch Crow Road. So I read the 21 articles and then I had my reward. I watched Peter Capaldi in Crow Road. Great. But every great life is punctuated as much by, I think, how you manage disappointment as how you manage success. And Peter Capaldi made a really great statement about life, and he makes very few of them, but it certainly changed the way and changes the way I approach my life every day. He stated, quote, "Worrying that you are crap is a waste of time. Worrying that you can't do it is a waste of time. Worrying that you failed is a waste of time. No one cares. Just get on with it." End of quote. No one cares. Just get on with it. If you worry, if you feel failure, if you assume that the world is talking about you, then you're wrong. Success is waking up in the morning, assuming responsibility for our actions, changing what we can through the decisions that we make, accepting what we can't, and then just getting on with it. PhDs are tough. If they weren't, everybody would have one. What I'm asking you to do for me this week is feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Always remember, you are amazing. Thank you for being you. And together, we will get through this PhD. This office cares for you. I care for you. Together, one step at a time, we will do it. I wish you love, light, and peace. Tea out.